Good day everyone, my name is Nelson Masayon Jr. and I will demonstrate to you on how to make a polygraph machine using an indigenous materials or materials that can be found at home. So the first material is the cartolina used for wrapping the box that I said, the tie boxes, 5 strips of tie boxes, pentel pen, scotch tape, 2 clips, and since concrete nails is not available, I alternatively use the nails, normal nails. And since spignometer is available, I use this old spignometer that's available in our home. That would be symbolizes as the arm cuff. So, and since the corrugated PVC is not available or I can't acquire it due to some circumstances, I will use the extra cartolina that will symbolize the pneumograph 1 and the pneumograph 2. In making the process of indigenous polygraph machine, first of all, I will wrap this box with cartolina. So, I finish wrapping the box with cartolina as a represent of a machine that will read or detect the data. So the next step would be tying the two night box in a beaded form. The next thing to do is inserting this clip to the tie box.
Is to attach the nail to the tie box in this galvanograph.
So we will now draw the tracing pen in our machine. So the tracing pen. And now since the materials are kindly assembled, we will now connect them to the machine.
So these are the final output that I have come up with, or I have created using the indigenous materials that will be used as a part of the polygraph machine.
So the parts of the polygraphy machine. First of all would be the pneumograph 1. This thing represents as the pneumograph 1 or the chest assembly. This will be attached in the chest, or if the client or the subject is a female, it will be attached to the upper portion that will detect the heartbeat of a person. So the next would be the pneumo 2. I use P2 as a coordinate. This thing will be attached in the abdomen that will detect the breathing of the person. Okay. And this thing would be represent as a galvanograph. The galvanograph detects skin resistance with a bit of electricity. It will be put in the index finger and to the ring finger. And the next would be the cardiospimograph. Since I have a spimonometer, this used to feel the blood pressure of a certain individual. This packet of cloth, there's a plastic inside that will be filled with air, and this ball thing will pump. The more you pump, the more the air extend the inside, and the more tighten the arm cuff, the more your blood pressure will get tension and will detect the blood pressure.
Discussion and recommendation. Discuss the things that you have experienced during the experiment or activity. Well, I felt excitement in doing such activity, since I'm curious on how a real-life polygraph will work. But while doing such activity, there's a lot of distractions that I've experienced. Our home is not a controlled environment, unlike school, and people will tend to make such a noise. And also, some of the materials like the PVC tube is not available to the store nearby. But through creativity, I found an alternative through the use of cartolina. Do you think this activity is considerable to the academe, particularly in the present pandemic situation? Yes, it is. Physical representation of output related to polygraph is very important. It is already a very sad event that we can't go to school and perform this activity with a complete equipment. So, while doing this activity, we can create an imagination or a physical work or output that might help us in thinking on how a real life polygraph will work. In this activity can be applied the time that we will go back in normal life. Yes, and also probably. Yes, it is that it could be applied, but I think it would be much better if we will have an actual and real equipment that we will use, just like a real representation of a polygraph machine, a real polygraph machine itself and its equipment and other parts of it, so that we can feel its sensation and the experience also.
Ma'am, my name is Nelson Masaya Engineer, and I will be your polygraph examiner. So before we start, I will read your constitutional rights. So first of all, you have the rights to remain silent. Anything you say can be used you against in a court of law. You have the right to have a competent legal counsel in your own choice. If you can't afford one, the government will provide you. You have read your constitutional rights. Please kindly sign this waiver form or the consent that you are agreeing in this polygraph test. Thank you. And I will attach this equipment in your body. So, ma'am, this would be the pneumograph one that will be attached in your chest, in your upper chest. That will record your heartbeat. This would be the pneumo 2. that will be attached in your lower abdomen. Lower abdomen. And this will be the galvanograph that will be put in the index finger and to the ring finger. And this to detect the blood pressure. Now, ma'am, I have attached the equipment in your body that will detect any numerical data that will be translated in here. So, please kindly answer this question through yes or no. So, ma'am, do you call yourself Lilibet?
Yes.
Are you over 21 years old?
Yes.
Last Friday night, did you shoot James Bond?
No.
Do you live in Davao City right now?
Yes.
Did you kill James Bond?
No.
Besides or what you told before, did you steal anything?
No.
Did you ever go to school, like high school or college?
Yes.
Did you steal James Bond watch last night?
No.
Do you know who shot James Bond?
No.
Did you ever steal anything when you are walking?
No.
Discussion and recommendation for activity 2. Discuss the things that you have experienced during the experiment or activity. So, while conducting the survey or the test, I found that there's some weak spot in the pneumograph 1 and the pneumograph 2. It's very hard to attach to the client since there is no back strap on it. So, as an alternative or as an creative way, I let the subject to hold it in his armpit or in her armpit itself. Do you think that this activity is considerable to the academy, particularly in this present pandemic situation? Yes, it is very considerable. Since the action or the activity itself is not that hard to replicate in the house, first of all, we only need to interview a certain individual that would be act as a client, and us or the student itself or the participant like me will be act as a polygraph examiner. And some of the instructions already set up in the document and to the sample video. And while doing this activity, there's also some reference from the previous subjects, just like the Republic Act number 7438 and dictating the constitutional rights of a person. So it is very normal for a criminology student to do such activity in that way. After doing the simulation in your homes, do you think you can perform a mock polygraph test when we go back to our normal setup of face-to-face classes? Yes, actually doing this simulation in our home gave us insights on how mock polygraph tests are usually done. Through these insights, I think the students of this course are capable enough to do a mock test in the school. But I think it would be much better if we will use a real polygraph machine instead of a box in school.